set 4. This is the last problem, number 6, and we're gonna do another control chart problem, and using the sealant.xls file. Let me read this to you.
6. This problem uses the sealant.xls file included with this assignment and phstat, p.14-41. The manufacturer of Boston and Vermont asphalt shingles constructed control charts and analyzed several quality characteristics. One characteristic of interest is the strength of the sealant on the shingle. During each day of production, 3 shingles are tested for their sealant strength. Thus, a subgroup is operationally defined as 1 day of production, and the sample size for each subgroup is 3. Separate pieces are cut from the upper and lower portions of a shingle and then reassembled to simulate shingles on a roof. A timed heating process is used to simulate the sealing process. The sealed shingle pieces are pulled apart, and the amount of force, in pounds, required to break the sealant bond is measured and recorded. This variable is called the sealant strength. The file sealant.xls contains sealant strength measurements on 25 days of production for Boston shingles and 19 days for Vermont shingles. Each letter question is 1 point.
Okay, I guess that worked. Okay, so we're gonna do the Boston shingles first, and then we'll do the Vermont shingles second. So with the Boston shingles, we're going to construct a control chart for the range, and then one for the mean, and then we're going to take a look and see if the process is in control. So let's go to the sealant spreadsheet. Here it is. And the first thing we need to do is we have to unstack this data. And so it looks like there's 25 days worth of data. There happens to be a problem with phstat in that it only lets you unstack up to 23 different samples, but so we have to make some slight adjustments at the end. Let's unstack some data, and this thing pops up, and the grouping cell range would be this one. All the way up to 25, and the stacked cell range would be Boston to 25, and we click OK, and it says there's more than 9 groups. It doesn't like to do more than 9. Proceed, and this is what comes up. We notice that it actually listed the column here of all the data, which it doesn't normally do, but you notice it only went up to 23. So it leaves out 2 days. So it left out this day and this day, and we see that 23 is 17, 27, 45. 17, 27, 45. If we go back to the data here, we see 23 is 17. And then we missed out on these. So I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna maybe like move this over a little bit, and I'm gonna put 24 and 25. This is 24 and 25. I'm gonna copy this and go back over here and paste it. Just need to paste the values, and I'm gonna put these up here. And I'm going to put a 24 here and a 25 here. Alright, that looks better. Next I'm going to actually, I need to, for the control charts, I'm going to look at range and mean. So I need to create a range column here. I'm going to range row, excuse me. So the range is equal to the max of these 3 minus the min of these 3. And so, oops, this should be A4. Okay, so it's the max of A2 to A4 minus the min of A2 to A4. So the range is that, and the average is equal to the average of those three. Enter. So this is the average and this is the mean, and we can just drag this all the way across. So we've got an I'm sorry. So this is a range and this is the mean. This is the range and this is the mean. So this is the range row, number 5, and this is the mean row, number 6. So now we can do our pH stat. Let's do add-ins, pH stat, control charts, R and X bar. And this thing pops up. And so our sample group size here is 20. It's 3. Our sample size is 3, and for the subgroup ranges, the ranges that's the first, that's row 5, so I'm going to click here and put this row in there. So that's the ranges, and the first cell contains a label, it does not. For the means, first label contains a label, it does not. That would be right there. We're talking about row 6. Make sure you get the whole row 6. And for a title, I'm going to put Boston. Click OK. And this is what the X bar chart looks like, and this is what the R chart, the range chart. The range chart actually looks pretty good. No outliers. It looks like the range is in control when we look. So then we can look at the X bar chart, and we do notice that there does seem to be an outlier here above the upper control limit, and then one that's right on the lower control limit. So those would be problems. So if we go back to our answers here, we are doing this one, and we see this. The first one is construct a control chart for the range, and that was this one. Construct a control chart for the mean, and that looked like this. And question C is the process in control? The range is in control, but the mean is not, and because there was an observation above the upper control limit and one right on the lower control limit. Okay, so that's for Boston, and now let's do the same thing for Vermont. So let's go back to our data, and let's go back to here, and let's do the same thing for Vermont. Let's do add-ins. Oh, we need to unstack first. Unstack, and this thing pops up. The grouping variable is A down to $19, and the stacked variable is the Vermont column. And they do contain labels, so click OK. And yeah. Okay, here's Vermont, and it's okay, everything's fine. So I got to do the ranges equal max left parentheses A2 to A4 right parentheses minus min left parentheses A2 to A4 right parentheses enter. That's range, and average is equals average left parentheses A2 to A4 parentheses. And that's the average. And we can select these two cells, put the mouse over that little square there, click down and drag that all the way across to 19. And now we've got our range row and our mean row. So we can create a control chart here, add-ins, phstat, control charts, R and X bar, and this thing pops up. The sample size is 3, 1, 2, 3. The subgroup ranges is this A5 through S5, and it does not contain a label. And we want R and X bar, so the mean is A6 through S6. It does not contain a label, and this can be Vermont. Okay, and this thing pops up. Let's look at the R chart first. It's okay, no outliers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Minus 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's fine. And so then we can look at the means, and we see that there's nothing really wrong with the X bar chart either, so it looks like the process is in control. We go back to our answers, paste those in here, and yes, the range is in control. Okay, that looks like that's the end of the assignment, so good luck.